Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fielder Hiss.
Well, welcome to the third day of SolidWorks World here in San Antonio. Is everybody having a good time? Well, many of you might have missed this, but we had an interesting surprise last night. Last night during the State of the Union, President Obama recognized SolidWorks customer CenterRock, who we talked about on day one, and their can-do spirit of small business and how they went down and helped and really enabled that great success on their own and that great drive they had to reach out as engineers and really solve some great problems. So, guys from CenterRock, again, congratulations. That's a huge, huge honor. What did everybody think of the Bionic Builders guys yesterday? You know, I mean, just taking something from being, you know, a potential, you know, handicap or challenge and really supercharging it and becoming super enabled. I thought that was one of the cooler messages I've seen. And just amazing use of technology. It was just outstanding. Everyone have fun at the offsite event last night? Does anyone else wonder what goes on in those guys' heads for 8 seconds? Because I thought that was pretty crazy. I've never seen that personally live, so it was kind of an exciting thing. And there was a lot of other good fun, good events. You know, hopefully anyone didn't lose too much money to John Herstick playing blackjack while we were there. So, as we get started, we have an action-packed day today. There's a lot of great stuff, a lot of great technology that we're going to see. I'd first like to bring up and thank our platinum sponsor again this year, Dell. So please help join me in welcoming Patrick Hannon, the Senior Manager of Strategic Market Development for Dell. Patrick, come on up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. Well, good morning. So if it hasn't been overplayed too much, I'd like to also welcome you to Texas. For those of you who don't know, right up the road, about an hour and a half from here, in the capital of Texas, is Dell's headquarters, and that was also Michael Dell's foray into, you know, his first attempt at custom-built PCs. And today, on a little bit larger scale, we still build those custom-built PCs right in Austin, Texas. In fact, many of the workstation and server products that we design and build and sustain still happen in Austin, Texas. So Texas is our home and my home, and we're happy to have you here. Regarding the products that we do build to support the engineering community, we really have had a very storied history regarding those products. If you look at our first workstation products that support CAD design, back in the mid to late 90s. Within 2 years of the inception of those products, I was fortunate enough to be a part of that original launch team, and we rose to #1 in our space within 2 years. We then moved into servers and storage and services that enabled us to start to function and collaborate in PDM and PLM type environments. Still relatively new in their adoption in the marketplace, but the concepts were something that were intriguing early on, and today that's a very important part of our business. And now into the next generation of technology, and you may have seen some of the many announcements that we made in the last few years around investments in cloud computing, service delivery platforms, intelligent devices, mobile phones, tablets, and other types of collaboration devices that are truly an important part of the next generation of design. None of this would have been possible without our relationship with the very important software partners and technology leaders in their space, like Dassault Systems and SolidWorks, which have enabled us to build better solutions to service the markets that we serve, and specifically the people that matter most to our professional lives, our customers. So I thought it was very fitting, and it's always a great opportunity for us to be able to participate in the SolidWorks event and have an opportunity to interact with you and listen to your needs and feedback so that we can continue to design products into the future that help you do your jobs. So with that said, I'll let you get back to your action-packed morning, We are very happy to be a part of the event this year and hopefully for many years to come, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Patrick. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Patrick. And thanks to all of our partners that make this event possible. So the CSWP gang had a great night on Monday night. And, this is such an important part of the community, having the best of the best, being able to have a badge of honor, if you will, and a big part of the event. So to talk a little bit about the SolidWorks certification program, please welcome our certification specialists, Mike Puckett and Avelina Ruscino. Guys, come on up. Hey, for the mic. Take your shoulder.
So with over 30,000 certified SolidWorks users around the world, we thought that SolidWorks World 2011 would be a great place to highlight some of the products that they design.
All this week, as you guys have been entering the general sessions, we hope that you've noticed the product images, because all of those images were actually created from designs made by CSWPs from around the world.
So we'd like to take a few moments and highlight some of our users that we like to think of as rock stars and showcase some of their designs. So now that you've met just a few of our certified users, we'd like to welcome to the stage a very special guest. Last year at this time, we introduced the Certified SolidWorks Expert Exam. The Certified SolidWorks Expert Exam recognizes the top certified SolidWorks professionals from around the world.
Our guest, Matt Perez, has been using SolidWorks for only about 2 years now. But in those 2 years, he's actually acquired several certifications, including the CSWE, the Expert certification. And also in those 2 years, he's created several step-by-step tutorials with very complex parts that he's actually shared with the general SolidWorks community for free.
So I'd like to welcome to the stage from Virginia Tech, Matt Perez. So Matt, I'd like to not only welcome you to SolidWorks World, but to your first SolidWorks World ever. We're certainly glad to have you, and thank you for joining us. The first question I want to ask you is, what was your motivation to get your CSWE certification?
Well, first off, I wanted to get that little logo in the bottom of my email. And then second, it was really just self-motivation. I just wanted to do better. I did the CSWP and the advanced exams and just ran with it.
And what has acquiring the CSWE done for your career?
Got me here on stage, which can't hurt. But other than that, I mean, it's just a fact that I know what I'm doing at work, and it's really just opened a lot of doors. It's a small group, and great to be a part of it.
So Matt, you create these great tutorials. You throw them out there on the web for free for the entire world to consume. I'm kind of curious, what was your motivation in creating these tutorials, one of them that's nearly 300 pages long?
Well, like probably a good portion of you, I spent some time on the forums helping out, and really it just came from a need that I saw. And there's a lot of how-tos out there, but not a lot of whys and whats in the modeling. So we just tried to fill that spot, and it really spun into a free website between myself and Bill Hamsey, which you guys saw on the screen there. And really, it's out there for everybody.
Well, if you'd like to download these tutorials and challenge yourself to complete these designs that Matt's created, definitely visit his website, solidworkslessons.info, and give them a try. They're very thorough, they're very complex, but they're a lot of fun, and it's good to get away from the doldrums of work every now and then. Matt, you truly are a rock star in the certification community, and for that we wanted to show our appreciation with some gifts. So I'd like to welcome to the stage my boss, Jeremy Lucchini.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Jeremy.
I got some cool toys for you, brother.
Thank you. This is pretty cool.
So the first thing you're holding is a paintball gun, completely designed in SolidWorks. You might have saw me shooting that thing to welcome all of you to SolidWorks world every morning. The other is a radio-controlled truck, completely designed in SolidWorks.
It's pretty sweet. I saw those on the videos from last year, and
It's all yours.
can't wait to get my hands on it.
A couple ways to get away from the computer, for a few hours.
Yeah.
So I really love what you're doing, and we really appreciate it. I'm sure all of them appreciate it as well. So thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, and I'd also like to thank Box Tech for they supplied me with a really, really nice machine.
You got a new machine?
Yeah.
Nice. That's always a good way to come to.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mike.
Every year at SolidWorks World, we have our gunslinging shootout of top gun users in our reseller and customer community. That's our Model Mania competition. And we had a lot of people participate this year. And to talk a little bit about this year's winners and contest, please welcome Mark Schneider, our field marketing manager. Mark, come on up.
Thanks, Fielder. Wow, that's a tough act to follow, huh? I'm still trying to get over the fact that he beat me out for the lead in Footloose with my mad acting skills and the skits and stuff, Anyway, back on message. As Fielder mentioned, we have a modeling contest that we hold in the Partner Pavilion every year. We've done it for the last 12 years. If you take a look at some of the past models that were built, varying complexities of parts, but, not too bad. For SolidWorks, for Model Mania 2011, this is the part that we ask them to do. So we give them the part that's on the left, and we ask them to model that part, no drawings or anything, just model the part. And then we give them another drawing and say, make a change to that part. Once they complete that, whoever gets it done in the fastest time gets some really fabulous prizes. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, longtime sponsor, which is NVIDIA and PNY. Giving us some really great graphics cards. We give 3 graphics cards out to the user community and 3 to the reseller community, so some great stuff. Also like to give out a shout out to Prototype Solutions Group, who created our rapid prototypes for us. Some really nice looking rapid prototypes this year. So I'm going to announce the winners early this time so that they have time to come up on stage. We'd like to give them their due recognition on stage, and they can come up while I'm actually narrating through a way to build the part. So let's go ahead and start with our winners for the customers first. Third place is Brian Lindahl from CAD Speed Up. Big round of applause. Come on up, Brian. Our reseller category, third place was Michael Burks from MLC CAD. get the rest of them up here. Hit a winning time of 10 minutes 52. That was the fastest. One of the really nice things when I have to go through and grade all these parts. This year we had 28 people, 15 customers, 13 resellers who actually got perfect parts all the way through, which is a real testament to you and the 160 people that actually took the test. So it was a really good job this year. I noticed that you guys are kind of starting to catch on to my ways, so I may need to change some things next year. Anyway, let's walk through how you would model the first part. We all know that you can model it many different ways. This, I think, might be the most efficient way that I've seen how to do it, so let's go through it. You can do this in about 2 minutes. It's always a good idea to start with a good foundation, a good, strong sketch to start out your design. Draw a vertical center line. I use dynamic mirror entities, so it actually dynamically mirrors while we sketch, something that we don't think about all the time. One of the things I like to do with the presentation is actually to make sure that people remember some of the basic commands that we have in the software. Allows you to mirror, when you sketch, it mirrors things automatically to the other side. We'll turn that off, add an arc, add some constraints, some tangency constraints, and then just use the standard mirror tool to mirror that to the other side after we add a dimension. Again, a good, strong sketch to start out your design. We use contours. Contours are a fantastic tool in SolidWorks. So you don't have to doesn't force you to trim up all your geometry. So just use the contours, sketch out your shape, save the time of not having to trim that up. Quickly add the 6mm fillet to the top, and then we'll add the boss that goes through the side. We had this boss that goes through the side. I know some of these guys are over here saying, what are you doing? You got to shell it first, right? It's got to be shelled. You shell before that goes on. We'll show you how that goes in a little bit here. Add some constraints, add some dimensions to locate that, and we'll extrude that. Using Instant 3D, I can just drag this out. If I hold down the M key, it gives me a mid-plane extrude. We'll snap that to 40. What we're going to do now is we're going to shell it. So we're going to shell off 5 faces, the bottom, the edges of the inside cylinders, which will shell those out as well. And then we're going to use multi-thickness shell on the top. So here I just chose that to be 5, and I get my 16mm diameter on the inside. It's a quick and easy way to do it. Lastly, we'll add the fillet, and then we'll apply the material as prescribed in the drawing. So really it takes a little bit about over 2 minutes when you practice it and memorize the drawing. Okay, so that's how you do phase 1. So what we do is we then give you a change to make. And some people say, well, do I get to see the change ahead of time? No, in the real world, nobody gets to see the change while you're designing your part. Somebody says design the part, go ahead and do it. Then they drop the change on you. You don't know how to react. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Rounding off the top there, you can see some additional bosses to maintain that original bearing height for those circular holes at the top. And then we ask you to do a little bit of simulation. So you can see the red faces are the ones that we're fixing and holding those. Blue faces, we're applying some load on top of those. All we're asking for is factor of safety. So let's show how you might make this change. Most people did exactly what you would expect here. Roll back, cut it at the top. Some people were putting surfaces on, extrude up the surface, going back. All those things work. I think this is the easiest way. Just go back and draw an open sketch and cut it. We all recognize that you're probably going to get some rebuild errors as you go through that. So it's always a test to see how you can deal with rebuild errors. It's part of everyday life. Roll that down. The fillet fails. Great. We know the edge is gone. Accept that. Good to go. Next thing we're going to do is we'll see that our tangency relationship for that sketch is no longer established. So we always want to have good, clean models. We don't want rebuild errors in them. We're going to go back and reestablish that. The shell fails. How do we deal with this? The way I deal with multi-thickness shell is I simplify it. Let's take the multi-thickness off. Preview shows me that it works. I'm good to go, but I have the wrong diameter on those holes. How do I fix this? I'm going to use some of the direct editing tools inside of SolidWorks and just use Move Face. Use the offset 2mm, and I've offset both of those faces. I'm now back to having a 16mm hole that goes through my part. Then we're going to add the bosses. We had a pretty good sketch in the beginning, so I'm just going to leverage those 2 contours. Use the offset sketch functionality for offsetting the sketch plane up 30, reverse the direction, and I'm going to choose to extrude to the bottom face there. And I did that because if you don't do it, where that boss comes down, sits on top of the fillet, you got a little gap. Everybody was complaining, oh, I can't get the fillet to work. Face fillet works, it'll fill that in, but if you didn't recognize that, extrude up the body, extrude up the next or inside surface, it wouldn't work. Reapply the fillet, and then we're going to run the simulation. So with SolidWorks Simulation Express, you could use either Simulation or Simulation Express, either one. Very quick and easy to apply your loads and your boundary conditions to the model. Then we'll go ahead and materials already applied. We'll run it. Fastest solver in the industry, well under 10 seconds, it's going to give us our answer. That answer is around 2.7, 2.8 was the factor of safety for the part. So you can see how quickly and easily you're able to create a part, make that change. This was done all in well under 5 minutes, but make the change and do the simulation on the part. So that's Model Mania 2011. And again, I want to give a big round of applause for all of our champions. They deserve it. Had some really great times this year. And if you didn't try it next year, there's always next year, but please do try it. You can see how easy it is to do when you, like I said, you memorize the drawing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. 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 Oh, prizes will be shipped, all right? All the prizes will be shipped to you. So we got all your information. Everything's good to go. Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Mark, thanks a lot. He always does cheat and memorize the drawings and things like that. And I wonder what happened in school while he was there. You know, if he had any tricks he didn't talk about. You know, one of the things that when John Herstig set out and founded this company, we had a very clear mission. And that mission was to put the power of 3D on every engineer's desktop. And we've done a lot of work to really reach that and deliver some great tools. Clearly, I think we've done a decent job. This event's probably a testament to that. But our work is not done in this space. There's a lot of room for significant innovation and significant opportunity to solve more of your needs. We also see at the same time opportunities to help others in adjacent industries. We have customers who are actually designing entire buildings using SolidWorks. That's right, a mechanical CAD tool being used for construction. So we had to spend some time with them to understand why and what are the reasons. And what we realized is the tools they have are really underserving the market. And we saw an opportunity for ourselves to help. So we did some research. We learned that while manufacturing productivity per employee is up significantly over the past 20 years, in the construction industry, it's actually down significantly over the same period of time. When we're talking to people, we learned this was because of fragmentation and poor collaboration between architects, engineers, owners, and clients. Again, this really gave us a vision and a reality of an opportunity. We saw an opportunity to provide true 3D and collaboration tools for the construction industry, just like we did in 1995 for this industry. So we took the idea to Bernard, because this is an important step, a step to do something new, adjacent to what we do. We were a little worried about what he was going to say, but quite frankly, Bernard was very excited by this opportunity. And he pledged the full support of DS Resources to make this happen. Today, I'm very thrilled to introduce our first offering from SolidWorks for the construction industry. It's called SolidWorks Live Buildings. It's an easy-to-use tool for the conceptual process and planning and early cost estimation in the construction industry. It's going to allow people to collaborate with team members online and early in the process. It's a true 3D tool for this industry with the benefits that you enjoy applied to the construction space. And it's going to complement many of the existing tools that exist in the industry today. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is not just SolidWorks with new features put on top of it. This is a new application. It's built for online. It's built to support owners in their decisions about their property, both long-term and short-term around cost, whether they should rent, renovate, or build a new building, and things around site selection as well. It has functional concepts that will differentiate it, such as walls or walls, spaces or spaces, stairs, columns, and curtain walls. The focus is for buildings and planners. And it's going to allow them to communicate better than ever with their clients and their teams, and most importantly, win business. Instead of talking about it, I'm going to bring up Neil Cook, our manager of product marketing, to give you a look at SolidWorks live buildings. Neil, come on up.
Okay, let's see if I can apply my SolidWorks skills to the construction industry. Now, what better way to introduce SolidWorks Live Building than to take a look at the new DS campus in Waltham, Massachusetts. All the DS companies in this area will be moving into this office building in the summer. And this is pretty much how the building looks at the moment, empty. So let's go ahead and add some content. We'll go ahead and use this live section tool down the right, which is organized by floors. It makes it very easy to dive into the building to start adding our content. Now, it's typical of planners to design a floor plan in 2D. This particular design was actually designed in DraftSite. So we can take the DWG file and overlay that into our 3D design. It makes it easy to use it as a guide to add content, such as walls and stairwells. Speaking of stairs, let's go ahead and add one in. You can see it snaps to the floor and brings on a triad, very similar to the one that you'll find in SolidWorks. So you can move it across and snap it up against the wall. And this content is intelligent as well, so it'll add a hole in the floor above. Now, we know that not many of our customers actually design buildings themselves, but many of you design content that goes into buildings, such as furniture and plumbing and air conditioning. So what we've done is make it easy for you to share your content with the building planners. So let's go ahead and search some content online. And it's going to give me a number of items that we're going to use within this building. So we'll take a look at the cubicle and just drag and drop that into the floor space. It uses a concept similar to SmartMate, so it knows exactly where it's supposed to go. And if we want to make a copy of that, we'll simply use the triad, as we saw previously, and just drag it over to the left. So you can see very quick, very easy, a very nice conceptual tool for designing office space. And we can always also use the concept of patterns to update this design as well. Okay, starting to look good here. We can see we've got a nice layout of cubicles on the building. What we don't have is any office space, so let's go ahead and add some of those for the execs. Okay, if you want to add an office, just go down to a very simplified user interface at the bottom. Just pick a rectangle, and we're just going to draw the space up against this wall here. Now, because we're based on the V6 online platform, it makes it very easy to collaborate with customers and suppliers. There's a very handy little chat section at the bottom there where you can work with your customers. Apparently, there's a new CEO in town, and he wants a bigger office. So let's go ahead and make some changes to that. We can take the whole office and just pick it up and just drag it across. Is that big enough, Bertrand? No? Okay. Okay, well, we see we've got an open conference space there. Perhaps we'll steal some of that. So we'll go ahead and resize this. Just go ahead and pick a wall. And again, using the triad, we'll just drag it out. SolidWorks Live Builders understands the difference between interior walls, exterior walls, curtain walls. So you see it automatically trims itself back. And if we can either delete that wall or just drag it over there to finish our design. Now, of course, we now need to add an office for Bertrand's assistant, Trina. So we'll just go ahead and just drag and copy, create a new building, sorry, a new office right next to Bertrand's. And as before, we can just take that and we just use the triad, and we'll copy and paste that over to the left. Perhaps make an office for Fielder, and if we pattern it, perhaps I'll take one of those myself as well. Okay, but I know that Trina won't be really very happy with an office that doesn't have a window, so we'll go ahead and steal some of Bertrand's space, and we'll just go ahead and just draw lines. We can use lines, arcs, any particular shape you want to create an office space, so you're not limited to your designs. Okay, so looking pretty good. Finally, the content we'll add is just going to add in a door. It uses the SmartMates that we saw previously to snap them into place. But being a door, it also behaves like a smart component. It knows that it needs to cut a hole out in the wall. So when we drop it into place, you can see that's done for us. Okay. So you can see in a matter of moments, we've created 5 office spaces. And if I'm a building planner, then I need to get information just like floor space and quantity takeoff. And this information is available at the push of a button. Okay. We might also want to do some more analysis as well. So for example, we might be interested in energy usage. So at this time of year, we might want to be interested in how much lighting and how much heating we need in this design. So we can do a solar study. So we put in the coordinates of the location in Waltham, Massachusetts, and we can see just by moving this slider, we can see where the sun goes and how the shadows appear. So we can see sun up is around about 7 a.m., And as we move the slider over, we can see the shadows move across the building until we get to the evening sunset around about 5 p.m. Okay, so you see SolidWorks Live Building, a fantastic new tool for designing buildings in 3D and collaborating with customers and suppliers. Fielder.
Great, Neil. Thanks a lot. I want to have my office moved a little further away. We'll talk about that later. No, this is exciting. This is a great new online offering for us. And we really want to take what we've been able to do at SolidWorks of simplifying the complex and really apply it to a new industry and hopefully transform that industry as well. We're very excited about the opportunity we have. We have a lot to learn, quite frankly, and it's going to be a journey. We have many questions that we're going to work with the community out there to answer, but we're very, very excited. We expect the SolidWorks Live Building product to be available later this year, and there'll be more to come. Now, speaking of online, last year we showed you a prototype demonstration of something called product data sharing. And it was pretty cool. It leveraged the Innovia online platform for online sharing and collaboration. This product has evolved, as you've now heard, into SolidWorks Infuse. And we really believe that this is going to revolutionize how you do business. One of the important things that we look at is our enterprise PDM product's a wonderful solution. But not everyone in this room, particularly those of you in small companies, can benefit from it because you actually lack IT resources. Often, and I know this is true for many of you, the IT manager is the smartest CAD user in the company. And it's just a reality. You use email and FTP to collaborate with other people during a design. SolidWorks Infuse is a CAD-aware online collaboration tool focused on upload, organizing, and sharing design information. You can have access at anywhere on any device and track comments about designs for the collaboration aspect as well as automatically version. And all of this can be done without IT infrastructure or really zero administration as well. So this has come a long way. Neil, why don't we take a look at where we are with Infuse?
Okay, what we'll do is take a look at a video of a typical design scenario. So a designer's created a new wireless router design, but he doesn't have the capabilities in-house to do the electronics, so he decides to partner with another company to do that. So he goes to SolidWorks Infuse, conveniently inside the task pane. He logs in, and it takes you to an area where it shows all the individual project workspaces. So this is how you can organize your data. We'll go to one of the workspaces, and we'll see there are a number of files have already been uploaded. So we want to go ahead and upload the PCB design. Now, the electronics designer doesn't need to see the drawing of the backplate, so you've got full control over which files you actually upload. Security is also an issue, so SolidWorks Infuse tells you that these particular users have access to those files. Well, that's okay, I'm happy with that. So we'll go ahead and upload it. The important thing here is that SolidWorks Infuse understands the complex file relationships of the 3D CAD files, so you never get into the situation where you upload an assembly and some of the parts are missing. I'm sure nobody's ever had that problem. All right, so once you get to your PCB assembly, you then might want to add a comment. This is in place of email. This comment will stay with this design for the life of the project. So you can keep track of any design decisions that have gone along the way. Now, once we've posted that comment, what we'll do, we'll move on to the second user. User 2 then logs on to SolidWorks Infuse and sees that he has some notifications. This keeps a track of the history of what's gone in this design, files that have been added, deleted, up-revisioned, and so on. So we'll see the PCB assembly, and we'll check out the comments. We'll go ahead and download it directly from the add-in straight into SolidWorks. Now, it already knows what files you have on your hard disk, so it only downloads the files that you need, again, to make it more efficient. When it's finished downloading, it's going to go ahead and open it in SolidWorks. Now, the design change that we're going to make involves in-context relationships. We'll see on the back of this design, there is a reset button with a hole to go through in the back plate, so you can press the button. So we're going to make the design change using CircuitWorks. So we're going to take the ECAD data and bring it into SolidWorks and populate the rest of the board. When we do that, you'll see that not only do we add the components, but the reset button will move over to the left a little bit. With the in-context relationship and the magic of SolidWorks, of course, the hole in the backplate also updates. The point I'm making here is that, again, SolidWorks Infuse understands that these designs have changed. You want to upload those. It knows it needs to make a second version. You can also lock files, so just to let people know that you're still working on them. What about the first designer again? He will get a notification that some of the files have changed version. So he can go and see how that affects his design by using a fantastic where used tool. We can see that PCB assembly is using the assembly, it's using a drawing. You can also check out what makes up that assembly as well. So a very nice tool, nice graphical tool to understand those relationships. And what about the manager? He doesn't have SolidWorks. He can just log into a web browser and see everything that's been going on. He perhaps might want to invite a supplier to quote on a particular part. So he creates a new workspace particular for that supplier. He goes to his contacts, and he can add existing contacts or new contacts and add them to that workspace, giving them read-only or read-write permissions. So you have full control over the security of your files. Finally, you want to share that drawing. You don't need to copy it. You simply locate the drawing and then just share that to the new workspace. When the supplier logs into SolidWorks Infuse, he will see that he's got a new workspace. He will see that there's a part in there and any comments that the manager's added with regards to what he needs to do with that file. But what if the manager is not in the office? What if he's on the move? Fielder?
Well, Neil, that's a problem for me because I am always on the move. And one of the coolest things about SolidWorks Infuse is we actually have an iPad app that we're ready to release for this. So I can go in and actually look at the project that Neil was looking at. It can load all that design data and give me great access to that information no matter where I am in the world, and that's really important. You see all the thumbnails. If I scroll down, there's my router. Of course, I get a quick preview and then access to all that design information as well. And of course, I can see it all in 3D as well. So when you think about this, no matter where you work or who you work with, your data will always be available, secure, and backed up with SolidWorks Infuse. It's going to be easy to work with your customers and suppliers, and it's going to be a really interesting tool for you to check out. I encourage everyone to go to the booth, sign up for the beta that's coming later this quarter, and see the power of Infuse for yourself. Now, I have one more thing I want to show you. And we kind of snuck this in here because it came out of our labs just last week. But online and mobile are an important part of what we're trying to deliver tools for, and just to really give you information wherever you are. So I'm excited to actually show you another online app, and that is DraftSite Mobile. So that people using DWG and 2D-based data will be able to access it anywhere in the world online and essentially view, mark up, interact with that DWG data and provide comments to move things through the supply chain. So again, another online tool built for a purpose-built device that will be available to you sometime later this year. So a lot going on. Thank you very much. Well, you see the development team's been very hard at work, and you're going to get a lot of great new feature functionality in all of our products come the fall. And we're really excited about the release for the 2012. One of the things that drives every single release that we do and where we invest is feedback from you, our users. It's of utmost importance to us. And every year at SolidWorks World, we continue to ask for that feedback. So I'm going to bring up Bruce Hallway, our Director of Product Definition, to walk us through this year's SolidWorks World Top 10. Bruce, come on up.
Thanks, Fielder. It's great to be back at SolidWorks World. This is my 8th World, and I can still remember the first one like it was yesterday. I was a customer then, and it was great being bombarded with information. The breakouts, the demo of the next release, the general sessions, it was all great stuff. But to me, the coolest thing was that for 3 days, I could talk shop with anyone and everyone. And not just about SolidWorks, but about design in general. I see that happening today more than ever. In every conversation that takes place, someone is learning something. Ideas are being generated. All of us from SolidWorks, we're also learning from you. We're constantly trying to make SolidWorks a better product so you can do your jobs faster, smarter, more efficiently. And we know that the first step is to listen to you and understand your needs. That's why we carefully review every enhancement request, constantly follow the forums, and do so many surveys. We also visit hundreds of customers, so we can experience your challenges firsthand in your environments. We have other ways of learning from you, but there's one that's unique because it's so public, so transparent. The top 10 list. Every year, we conduct an online survey to determine your 10 highest priority enhancements. This year, we integrated it into our forums. We have a tradition of announcing the results here at SolidWorks World. And those of you who have been coming to World for a while know we have a pretty good track record with this list. Over the past 11 years, we've implemented close to 70% of all items on all top 10 lists. Let's take a look at a couple of recent examples. The freeze feature. So if you're here last year and you follow the forums, you know we tried to get this into 2011, but when we tested it with customers, we found they wanted it to work with configurations in a very specific way. So we did the extra work, and it will be in 2012 working the way you want it to. Next up, complete uninstall. So in 2012, there'll be new options to remove your registry items, install folders and files, a few other things. And the great thing is, you can now uninstall from an admin image. Next. Clear memory when a file is closed. So in 2011, we invested a lot of effort into improving memory management, and we verified the results. Our QA team took dozens of the largest assemblies they could get from you, and we verified that there is significant improvement. So if this is important to you, I think you'll see the difference in 2011. And next, dual monitor support. So if you have dual monitors, in 2012, if you open up SolidWorks so it spans across both monitors, you will notice that in each SolidWorks window, part assembly drawing window, there are new controls in the upper right-hand corner, which enable you to maximize to precisely the left monitor or the right monitor. Now, I'm sure this is not the last enhancement you're going to get from us concerning multi-monitor support, but it's going to be pretty handy, and it's in 2012. So those are all great enhancements, and they're there because you voted for them. Every enhancement we do in SolidWorks is a collaboration of many teams, team effort from many teams. But there's one team without which nothing would get accomplished. No bug would get fixed, no enhancement would get implemented. I'm talking, of course, about the development team. So this year, we thought it would be fun to bring some members of the development team up on stage to announce this year's top 10 results. Guys, come on up. Okay, as we do every year, we're going to start with number 10 and count our way down to number 1. So number 10 will be announced by Ron Bates, who manages the graphical applications team.
Number 10 is pressing the escape key should immediately return control of the interface.
Number 9, Dietmar's Vinebox. Dietmar's manages the sketch and part features teams.
Number 9, file compatibility between versions.
Number 8, Nikhil Kulkarni. Nikhil's been on the drawing teams 8 years and now manages it.
Number 8 is make the idea section in the forum available all the time, not just for the SolidWorks World.
Number 7, Liling Wong. Liling has been on the simulation team 15 years and is now a manager.
Number 7, convert a solid body into a surface body without having to delete, offset, or need faces.
Number 6, Jim Cashman, who manages the installation, licensing, and electronic download team.
Number 6, enhanced equations, input and editing and linking.
Number 5, John Sweeney. John manages the user interface team.
Number 5, feature freeze.
Number 4, Pritam Vaidya. Pritam is on the graphics team out of Pune, India.
Number 4, SolidWorks should cleanly uninstall itself.
Number 3, Aranaba Nag, who's on the part modeling team.
Number 3 is option to dangle children instead of deleting.
Thanks, Aranaba. Number 2, Kyung Kui Lee. Kyung's worked in many departments and currently is in the motion group.
Number 2, better utilize processor cores.
Thanks, Kyung. And now, for SolidWorks World 2011 #1 enhancement request, Chris Brookings, who manages the assemblies team out of Cambridge, England.
Number 1 is angle mates that don't flip at random.
Thanks, guys. You should know that we will never stop listening to you. So please continue to help us make SolidWorks even better. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bertrand Sicot.
Great job, guys. Awesome. I like that list very much. A lot of good thoughts here. Great. You know, what do you think about the cat cops? You like it? I can tell you, this team is crazy. I cannot wait to see what crazy idea they will bring for SolidWorks World next year. We'll see. They are very creative. Okay, so here we are. This is the last day of SolidWorks World 2011. It has been an action-packed few days, right? Today, it's always the last day, my favorite day. Why? Because we have a chance to look at what the students are doing all over the world in design. But before I share with you 2 stories, I would like to tell you something. Maybe you didn't know, but something happened the day of Thanksgiving. It was back in November last year. That day, we shipped the millionth education license in the world. 1 million license of education licenses in the world today. I think this is the best Thanksgiving Day gift we could ever had, right? So thank you very much. Just think about that. 1 million licensees found their way to schools over the past 15 years. That's huge. In 2009, it was only in 2009 that we announced 1 million licenses total, education and commercial globally. The adoption rate in university and high school is incredible. We are reaching students every year at the younger ages. Speaking of which, there is one student who is really outstanding. He is especially interesting. Education has always been a big cause for Jeffrey, as you know. He personally met with this guy, this young man, I should say. So I have asked Jeff to come back on stage and share with us his story. Jeff, come on back on stage.
I'm back. I'm not giving up this stage. So on Monday, I told you I struck a deal with Bernard, and that was that I got to come back and kick off the event. And I begged Bertrand to allow me to get up for a few minutes and talk about what is my favorite personal cause, and that is education. Many people ask me, what do you really like about being part of the SolidWorks family when you visit with the user community and people around the world? Well, I love going to the user groups. It is a blast, and I learn so much. but I really have a personal love for the education team and the education community around the world. What teachers do every day, they are heroes. They are heroes, and they make a huge difference in our lives. Every one of us is here because at some point when we were growing up, we were inspired by a teacher that got us into this cause. And the students that I see blow me away with their willingness to try anything new and different and a complete lack of fear of failure. So I get to see lots of really cool people, but there's one person in the last year that really kind of stood out. His name is Riley Lewis. He lives outside of San Francisco in San Jose. And instead of me telling you about him, I'm going to let him speak for himself.
So I'm Riley Lewis, and I'm 13 years old. I have been playing flute since 3rd grade, and I'm fairly proficient. I also play guitar. So this is my dresser. Over here is my archery medals. Awesome mechanical clock, my iPod, place where I keep my money and various certificates. Oh, and a 1 megawatt output blue laser. There's this program called Tech Challenge. What we had to do in this competition was attach 2 D-cell batteries with Velcro on one end to a mock satellite. The satellite was supposedly a piece of space junk that you had to attach HAL boosters to bring it in from outer space. Tried to use Google SketchUp to create the model, but it didn't work because I couldn't create the right materials definitions to show how it would bend under stress. Then Elise Moss came in with SolidWorks. I grabbed it and I'm like, ooh, this really works for what I want to do. So I took SolidWorks and used the failure analysis to show why it wasn't working. There was too much weight on the end of the cantilever arm, so it would bow, and we couldn't reach the full distance. I was hooked on SolidWorks because I could use it for so many different things. I got into lockpicking. So the locks I picked at school were master locks that attached the PCs by cable. Somebody lost the key to all the master locks that were keeping the PCs secure. So we asked the secretary if we could have all the separate keys for each individual lock to go and open them. She said no, but we were supposed to go and open all these locks. So I had my lock picks with me at the time. I had 2 sets, so I just handed out all my various picks to kids in my tech team, and we went and opened them. We went in and dumped them on the principal's desk. The look on his face was just like, oh. These locks are really simple to pick. I wonder if I could design an unpickable or very hard to pick lock. So then I went and created a lock with sleeves on the pins so you couldn't manipulate them with a pick. One of the projects I'm working on is for Agilent Technologies, a place where my dad works. Their quality group is trying to design an dual-masted antenna for the roof that would tell them the air quality outside of Agilent, say the emissions they're putting out.
He was fascinated, got very involved with the concept, learned a lot about what was going on, talked with the guys that are making the stuff, talked with the guys that are earning the patents on this, and just wanted to start learning more about it.
The way I visualize stuff is first as a sketch on SolidWorks. It's like, hey, I can do this, make the sketch, make the sketch, make the sketch. That's gonna work. Then I take it to 3D using the extrude tool and then create the different materials definitions, screw holes and such. So one of the huge things to say is never stop actually visualizing what you want to do and how to create it. Once you stop that, your engineering career is just as an inventor.
Riley Lewis is here today with his dad. Riley, stand up and say hi to everybody. He's only 13 years old, and he is in the 7th grade. I learned about Riley through his professor, Elise Moss. Elise, would you please stand up for a moment, too? Elise runs a very, very successful design consultancy in Northern California, and she also is very, very active in the community. She currently heads up the Laney SolidWorks user group in Oakland, California. She volunteers at the Discovery Charter School outside of Oakland, and that's where she started to get to know Riley. Riley worked in her Tech Challenge class, and he's been recognized. You saw the video earlier. It was a contest to determine how to take space junk out of space. And his team, for his age group, won an award from the Tech Museum in San Jose on the strength of his models and his presentation. I have to tell you, the first time I heard about Riley, you get lots of very interesting messages and emails. This one came in from Elise, and she said, just read the following attachment. That's all she said. The email said, my education license is no longer up. I need to renew it. I really need to be able to use my SolidWorks education license. If I can't, my life will be over. Now, I get some amazing excuses on why we should extend licenses or grant licenses, but this one reached a whole new threshold. By the way, it won't work for us anymore. So I reached out to Riley. I had to know him, and he told me about the fact that he loves to pick locks. He is a champion lock picker, and he competes in competitions. And I told him I was having problems with the lock on my boat. We were just chatting. Little did I know that he took this as a challenge, and he designed a lock that would be better than anything I could buy off the shelf. It's partially digital, and it wouldn't be as easy to pick. But the problem is the cold and ice could cause problems. It gets a little bit cold and icy where we live in Boston. So he said he would go ahead and design a mechanical lock just for me, and it would be better than anything I'd find on the shelf. And this is a 3D print of it that Elise prepared for me. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's available. He can show it to you afterwards. What he did was he came up with a very clever sleeve surrounding one of the pins. And the sleeve makes it almost impossible for anyone to pick with a lock. So leave it up to Riley to be not only great at picking locks, but find a way to make it truly lock-proof. I really appreciate Dave. Dave is his father, you and your wife allowing us to enjoy Riley's company over the last few days. I know that it's been a real sacrifice for you. We did have a deal when Riley and I and Marie Blanchard met together back in, I think it was early December. I struck one deal with Riley when I invited him to SolidWorks World. And that deal was that he had to finish the semester with excellent grades. And he's here because he had a great, great exam. So congratulations on the last semester, Riley. So now let's bring back out SolidWorks CEO Bertrand Seco.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you very much. What a story, huh? So I have two stories to share with you in addition to the one of Riley. How are you? I want to bring you down to Brazil. There is a professor doing something outstanding with his students. We go down to Brazil to the University of Minas Gerais. This professor is named Paulo Iscold. He has been working with his students to design and build specialized aircraft for acrobatics and speed records. This is a student team. So this team is made of students. They advise and build models for people like Paul Bonhomme. Maybe you don't know who Paul Bonhomme is. He is the 2009 and 2010 Red Bull Air Race World Champion. So think about that. A student team is helping professional pilots to design aircraft. If you are not familiar with the Red Bull Air Race, It's a series of competition happening all over the world. They have been able to provide 3D flight path visualization to let the pilot see the airplane flying through the course. Recently, they set up 4 new world records. 4. These are students, and they are competing with companies designing commercial aircraft. Think about that. They have now the fastest airplane in its category. It's obviously designed with SolidWorks to improve the overall quality and the aerodynamic of their design. Professor Iskold is here with us today. Thank you for coming. It's really amazing. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. Thank you for coming. One last story that I want to share with you is amazing. There's a guy called Ben Gulak. He's from Toronto, Canada. He's a student at MIT. He is a mechanical engineering major. And believe it or not, when he's not at school, he's managing not 1, but 2 companies. I'm not sure that he's at school at all anymore. Yeah, OK. So the first company is called BPG Motors. This company is developing a vehicle called the Uno. It's a motorized electric unicycle. He wanted to create a version with 0 emission after, I guess, a trip to China, right, where you discover the pollution over there in the big cities like Shanghai and Beijing, right? The first version of his working prototype won the 2nd prize at Intel International Science and Engineering Fair. In 2008, Popular Science named the Uno one of the top 10 inventions of the year. Ben has received $1.2 million in funding so he can continue to develop his concept. The current version of the Uno has actually 3 wheels now. At a higher speed, a 3rd wheel extends, turning the Uno into a real full street bike. It only weighs 120 pounds. It's light enough and small enough to be rolled into an elevator, or you can keep it into your city apartment. This student here is really amazing. The 2nd company he has is called BPG Works. The 2nd company is called BPG Works. They are working on a product called the DTV Shredder. It's part a tank, part skateboard, and part motorbike. It weighs 160 pounds. It has an 18 horsepower racing engine, and it goes on sand and snow, on everything. We have a prototype here in San Antonio that will be used at a future X game, and I'm going to show you how you can ride it, because he showed me this morning. You do it that way, right? Ben is working on a consumer version of the shredder, and it will be available for sales later this year. Obviously, he's also working with the United States Air Force Academy on the military version of the shredder. The first time when we met Ben, he was using SketchUp. But he was looking, obviously, for more precision in his design, and now everything is done in SolidWorks. Because it's such a small company, the ability to create virtual prototypes and save time and material cost is obviously very critical. The photorealistic renderings of their design has dramatically improved their capability and ability to raise money, and he raised recently an additional $800,000. Ben is here with us today, so Ben, please stand up. And I think something is telling me that we are going to hear more about Ben sooner than later. These are only a few stories that we hear about every year. There are thousands of more like that coming. Personally, I have one to share with you. I was driving back from the office one day, and I received a call from my son, Benjamin. He said, "Dad, I was using SolidWorks today at school." And I said, "Oh, great. And how was it?" He told me, word to word, "It's easy and cool." He could have said also wicked awesome for the Bostonian guy, right? Okay, seeing really what the students are doing every day using our software inspires all of us at Dassault Systèmes SolidWorks. By the way, the only way we are going to solve the global challenges we have ahead of us is through global innovation and constant innovation. We know that we have to keep moving in producing new tools for you so that you have the capabilities to design things that will make our world better. We have shown a lot to you today, right? But I know there is one last announcement that I want to make. I was walking the hallway, and everybody is wondering where SolidWorks World will be next year in 2012. So let's have a look. What about that? We will be returning to San Diego, California, and I hope we will see you there. I hope you had this week, first, a lot of fun, you made new friends, you have seen a lot of new technologies, and also you learned something. Let's have a look at what happened this week. It's a great honor for me to be here on stage in front of you. We want to thank you for making the trip to SolidWorks World and overall for your investment in SolidWorks.
You see that we are very committed to the digital assets that you have and help you leverage all kind of technology we have at Dassault Systèmes to expand your portfolio and make you successful.
Failure is not an option.
That's the vision and the knowledge that everyone in this room really has, making the impossible possible.
And the goal with what we do is I don't want to be just abled, I want to be super enabled.
Today, now, this is still the beginning. Today, now, we are just getting started. Let's go design.
What a week. What a week. So have a safe trip back and let's go design.